G'day guys, I'm Joey from Jollip Lures and welcome to this week's episode. Before we get into it, it's absolutely steaming hot here in the shed, so cheers, it's beer o'clock. Alright guys, so a little bit of a different angle on this week's video. We're going to do the whole podcast thing for a little while, but so many podcasts out there. Basically where we're at with our content, I'm getting limited time to sort of get out there and film fishing videos, so I was like, why not once a month sort of sit down, have a chat. Maybe we can take some questions for the following month's episode. If it's popular, we might do it once every couple of weeks. Basically just talk everything lures, everything fishing, things that's happening in the industry, what we're up to, a big part of this week's conversation, what we're up to, and yeah, just in general, a good all-around bit of a chat. Everything Jollip Lures to keep you guys in the loop. First things first, we're going to ditch that cap because you can't see me face. It's all shady there. We've got a bit of a makeshift studio set up here. If only you could see, there's like a light mounted on the roof here, and I've got battery banks. She's a bit of a schmozzle, but that's all right. We're going to make it happen. Don't forget, guys, grab your Jollip Lures cap on our website right now. There's still some available if you missed out on those. So before we get into chatting about all things Jollip Lures, I just wanted to give a big shout out to the competition we had. Huge response on that. We got some really good feedback on our videos. As I'll get into a little bit, we have been a little bit quiet on the video front, but we are still trying to track down that winner. So I'm just going to grab his name up again here now. So if anyone knows this gentleman, I'm just going to drop it onto the screen here now. So Robert Pinnard, I think that's pronounced Pinnard. So if anyone knows Robert, we're trying to track him down. He's only got one subscriber on YouTube there. Not sure how active he is, but we really want Robert to get his big prize. So if anyone knows Robert, as I said, his YouTube account's just over here. So send him a message, get in contact, get him to PM us. That'll be fantastic, and we'll double check it's Robert, and we'll get him his prize pack. It's a cracking prize, and he's obviously one of our valued subscribers, so we definitely want to get that prize out to Robert. So I guess before we get into it, let's just touch a little bit on 2023, the year that was. For us personally, it was our biggest year yet with our lures. Lure Expo was just blew us away. Can't remember the exact amount of lures we sold, but it was just silly amounts. So yeah, huge shout out to everyone that supported us at Expo, and not only at Expo, afterwards we got home, we threw up the remaining stock, and I think it lasted about 4 or 5 hours, and the majority of that was gone. So yeah, huge shout out to you guys for that one. Also a big shout out to all those stores that just continued their support last year. At last count, I think we're in about 16 stores now, around that, 15 or 16 stores, which is unreal. Absolutely blown away by that. And there's just a couple of stores that just keep pumping them out. So not only a big shout out to those guys, huge shout out to you guys, because you're going into your local tackle store, you're either asking them for Jollip Lures or you're going and purchasing one off the shelf. So just because you're not buying them off us, it doesn't mean that you're not supporting us. You're even supporting us more. It's getting into more and more tackle stores, and yeah, that kind of support's fantastic. We absolutely love it. Moving forward into this year with lures, I had a quick little look. We've probably got lure work till about July, August, around that time. Got plenty of lures on the books, and yet again, huge shout out to those guys that are patient. And no, we've only got 2 hands here at Jollip Lures. A few little helpers behind the scenes there, of course, and yeah, we're getting through it as quick as we can. We're getting it out to you guys as quick as we can. So yet again, thanks for that ongoing support. Now, while we're on YouTube, let's talk about what is happening with YouTube. As you would have known, we've been pretty quiet on the YouTube front, mainly because it's Christmas, it's busy, kids are on school holidays, been doing a heap of stuff with them, fishing, and just leaving the camera gear at home. We're just going and having fun. So we will kick that back into gear, although looking at the amount of work I do have moving forward, I'm not entirely sure how much fishing we're going to get done in the next 2 or 3 months. Although there is a few little sneaky trips coming up, which we'll touch here a little bit later on, but for now, I'm thinking this kind of video to get us through some content, keep you guys up to date, and like I said, in episodes to come, we're going to talk more of a podcast style, chat about little things, we'll answer questions. So if you do have any questions, leave a comment down below, and we'll put you up on the screen next week, and we'll ask those questions for sure, or in the upcoming episode. So So yeah, a lot of this content, I am going to do a bit more lure making content, being absolutely pumped for that. Where's your lure making content? We do want to see it. So there is going to be plenty of lure making content coming. I'm going to have the opportunity being in the shed a heap coming up the next sort of 6 months when things are drying, clear coats are drying, primer sealers are drying, and I'm sort of stuck waiting for stuff to finish. I'm going to get in, film some videos for you guys. So I'd love, drop down here yet again in those comments what lure you want to see we make, or what you sort of want to see on that lure making side, whether it's a certain technique. I know we've been asked about jointing baits before, jointed baits, so we're definitely going to touch on that. So yeah, let us know what you want to see lure wise or technique wise. Drop that comment down there and we're definitely going to take those on board. So yeah, we've been back into things for a couple of weeks now, just sort of here and there where we get a bit of chance, but yeah, in the next coming weeks we're going to kick right back into gear and kick a lot of these orders right into gear and get them out to you guys, those stores that have been waiting. Got a batch we've just been doing up here at the moment, some cracking barrow lures. They're heading up north. They're going to be in store at Tackle World Townsville and Tackle World Mackay, which is a new store, new stockist that's jumped on board. So big shout out to those guys. They are going to have them for barrow opening this year. They're going to get glued up here shortly. The other lot's already done over here behind me on the bench. They'll get swum tested in the next couple of days, carted up, and they will have those in store for barrow opening. There's some really cool colours in there. Some stuff that I normally just do for Expo. That the guys reached out and said, hey, can we get some of these colours? So yeah, there's some really cool stuff in there for some of the shops. So yeah, definitely check out those guys. Oh, actually that one's worth a look as well. So yeah, that's underway. Got those couple of orders out and got a couple more just sort of standard sort of size orders, and then we get stuck into an absolute whopper of a Jollip Lure order. That's going to be an absolute cracking order. That's going to block us out for a couple of months, probably getting into that, but it's fantastic. That's what we do. I love it, and especially Jollip Lures, something you're passionate about. Absolutely love making those and love seeing them go out to the legends. Been catching some cracking Jew on them. I'll just drop up here a few pictures, a few of the Jew that have been caught in the last couple of months, I'm assuming. Had a few photos sent through there, a couple of myself. The old Kunji 190 is just an absolute producer. It might not be the prettiest Jollip Lure, but for timber Jollip Lure at that price point, they absolutely smoke the fish. Most stores, you're sort of between that $36, $50, $38 sort of range there, retail. For a timber Jollip Lure of almost 200ml, you can't really go wrong with that. We have changed, to while we're on the Kunji Buster, we have changed the Kunji Buster slightly with a few little minor changes. What I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to run up and grab one right now, because I'd love to run you guys through a couple of the changes we've made to that Kunji Buster 190 and why we've done so. So I'm just going to go grab one. Just had to run up to the old fishing room there and grab some out now. Just a quick one. Sorry if there's a bit of background noise. It's absolutely teeming down. Not sure if you can hear or not. We've got the mic on, so hopefully it cancels it out, but it is pretty well teeming down there now. Alright, so just quickly, we'll run through the original Kunji 190. This one's seen some better days. He's pretty chewed up, that guy. He's caught some crackers, that guy. So this one was out of a different style timber originally, a little bit heavier, a little bit of a denser timber. That's the 2 or 2.2 mil Ali Bib, I think that was, that we run in those. They were a great lure. We all know them, fantastic. Now, I use these a lot myself, so I get firsthand to see little things that I may not necessarily be happy with the lure model. So the first thing was, while having that aluminium bib, it's incredibly strong. It doesn't snap obviously when it hits a rock. They will bend, but you just fold them back. The downside to aluminium was you could knock it out. So not necessarily break it, but the glue would loosen. And it would pop out. This is just part of sticking a porous material to a non-porous material. This thing's happen. You can scuff it back as much as you want, but you don't get that adhesion like say polycarbonate. Now while polycarbonate's still hard, it is in a way somewhat porous. It will just stick in that little bit better than aluminium. So what we did to fix that originally is we went to, if I've got one here, we went to putting the screw underneath, just like so. So what that screw did is, if you're out fishing for the night and hit a few rocks or whatever and that popped, just loosen a little bit, you can wiggle it side to side. I've probably got one here that might be like it. That guy there, it just wiggles a little bit. You never lost your bib. The screw's in there, you couldn't actually lose your bib. So you go home, you jam a bit more glue in it and you're good to go. It's not really any fault of the lure. Lures weren't designed to smash into rocks off the top of a rock wall. It's like my car. Toyota never designed a car to ram into a tree. If I went out and just drove that into a tree, you're going to get damage to it. So it's no fault of the lure, it's just part and parcel of dew fishing. It's hard terrain, you're harsh on your gear, you're up off sometimes high on a rock wall, a headland, it bangs in. It's just part and parcel of dew fishing around the rocks. So we put that screw in there. I was like, how can we avoid this? I never really wanted to go down that polycarbonate track, but I decided to. After much testing myself, that is really teaming down now, hopefully you can still hear this. After much testing myself, you can see the line still tight on that guy. We've been testing him just a couple of nights ago. We went to polycarbonate. We went to 3mm polycarbonate. Shorten it a fraction just so it's not so much bib sticking out. I actually didn't shorten the bib itself. I've just cut it in a little bit further. So by doing that, there's a lot less flex, I guess, on the front. If it's stuck out further, there's more what would you say, more leverage on the lure, and it could snap easier. So in my testing, I haven't actually snapped one yet. I haven't cracked a poly bib, and I'm rough as guts on my Jollip Lures especially. So we've gone to that. It seems to be fantastic. The glue that I use is the same glue that I use on all my Barra jerkbaits. I've never ever had one of those pull out to a fish, knowingly. No one's ever said they've had one. I've never had one. So I know that's strong as. It's nose-towed anyway, so there's no fear of that pulling out. We're sweet there. Still put the little screw underneath, as you'll see. That pure and simply is just a little bit of reassurance. If for some reason it does pop, you're going to keep your bib. You can get home, just unscrew him, bit of glue, poke it back in, and you're good to go. We're not having to send out replacement bibs, and you guys are still getting to keep your cool lure and go and catch some more dew on it. So that's what we've done here to try and just longevity of lure, I guess. And to be honest, there absolutely was nothing wrong with the original way I did it. It was just me being probably a little bit pedantic and just wanted to change things up a little bit. As I did mention, I changed the timber slightly. That was more of a supply issue than anything. The timber I was using is super hard to get, and what I could get wasn't really what I needed. So I've gone back to the same timber run on all my other lure models, which what it did is it lightened the lure up a little bit. Now to counteract that fractionally, I've run really long wires in the lure now, thicker wires. It's 1.6 gauge twisted wires. The back one's just on 60mm long, so here comes up to about there. And your belly one is the full depth of the lure, and your front wire is the same. It comes in the, I think it's about 50mm. It's a fraction shorter. So yeah, that's what we've done to try and counteract it. It is a little bit lighter still, but I've had some good feedback on that so far from a few guys I've showed. They're like, well, look, to be honest, that one was a little bit heavier. He was a bit harder to cast sometimes, depending if the gear was a bit lighter. I think I did the maths. It's about 25 grams lighter. It's still just over 70 grams, so it's still miles heavy enough. I was casting that yesterday morning, no dramas at all, great distance. So that's the Kunji Buster, guys, the changes we've made there. My camera's flashing on the battery. I'm going to chuck a new battery in, and we're going to keep on rolling. Alrighty guys, we are back. A little battery change there. So yeah, that was just something I wanted to chat about there, about the Jollip Lure. At least, yeah, it's out there now while we sort of made those changes for you guys. Let's get into the plans for this year. We've got that rain backed off now nicely, so I don't have to yell into this microphone. So yeah, moving forward with our fishing content, when we do get the chance to go fishing, obviously bass fishing is a huge passion of mine, and we're definitely still going to do bass fishing. You guys yourselves have shown us that you absolutely love the bass content. You actually get a little bit mad when we don't post bass content, to be honest. So we're definitely going to get back into that. The river's up and down like a yo-yo at the minute. It's flooding, as you can hear, it's raining, it's all sorts of things. So a lot of the river systems that I have been fishing at the end of last year's content aren't actually off my river just here itself. So when the river comes up here, I can pretty well tell that the feeder creeks, etc., that I normally fish are going to be dirty. But because I've been fishing another few little systems this year, it's hard to know whether they've had rain or not, and you get there and it's dirty. So I've sort of just been a little bit cautious about all that. Just because my river's flooded doesn't mean that isn't or is. So it's a little bit of a tricky one. I've got some really cool spots coming up that I do want to hit. But yet again, I know they're dirty at the moment, and you guys don't want to see the same spot over and over and over. It just gets a bit stale fishing. Oh, we know we caught one on that snag last week. Is it the same video sort of deal? So I do like to mix up the scenery quite a bit for you guys, and it doesn't bore me to death as well. When we're not bass fishing, we're going to be doing a lot more offshore fishing, guys. I'm absolutely loving me offshore fishing at the moment. I've always dabbled in it, but yeah, I'm going to get right into that a lot more. I love catching mackerel. Definitely going to get into some light tackle mackerel fishing this year. As you would have seen in our last video, we went out to catch a feed of some snapper and some trag. Had a trial for mackerel, but it wasn't really the right conditions. So they're literally just turning up like as we speak properly. We've had a big blow this week. Wednesday this week's looking pretty good. I'm not going to get a chance to get out probably till next week, but haven't really seen the proper weather yet for next week. But if we get a good weather window next week, definitely going to dart out. Which will probably be the video after this one if we do manage to get out, and that will be the last video until we go and do something really, really cool. Now, this leads perfectly into this next, what I was chatting about earlier, about some exciting things for this year. We love traveling, of course, and we do have a couple more overseas trips planned this year. Not going to say too much about that yet. They're both planned. They're both all booked and planned. Just locking in a few little things fishing-wise for the second one. That's more of a family-orientated holiday where I'm just going to be fishing. So yeah, the next so then I head off very shortly. You'll be seeing that content pretty soon. A little bit longer to go, but not that I'm counting the days at all, but won't let you know where that one is yet either. I just want to do a few more little things yet, and we'll do a cool little video to announce where we're off to. But there's 3 of us going over, just blokes, just 2 weeks of just hardcore fishing. It's going to be pretty intense. It's one of those trips that you don't realise it's your bucket list trip until you start to plan it, and then you're doing all these things, and there's certain little elements of the trip that happen. You're like, oh my goodness, this is going to be amazing, whether we catch or not. So yeah, if you think you've got any ideas of that one, guys, drop it down in the comments. Yeah, love to see a bit of a guesses. And if you know, don't be a spoiler. If you're one of my mates, you know exactly where I'm going, don't be a spoiler and drop it in here. Let everyone have a guess. So yeah, that's going to be really cool. 3 of us going to do that. Some little things out of my comfort zone, something I used to do a long time ago that I haven't done for a little while. So yeah, very excited about that. Definitely fitness-wise, that's probably giving a little bit away, but it's good to let you guys have a guess. Fitness-wise, it's going to be a little bit interesting at times, but yeah, really stoked and absolutely can't wait to share with you guys. Now, just to break it down, although you don't know what it is yet, there's going to be, the first video will be like a little blog style. It'll be a travel, bit of a setup, a bit of getting set up while we're there. The first day is going to be literally planning a few little things, driving around, collecting gear, what we need. So it's going to be cool to bring you guys along. And of the first afternoon, or the second afternoon, we don't fly until like midnight. The next morning we get up, grab a car. We're going to have a little fish that first afternoon. Now that's going to be like a bit of a blog style video. I want to bring you guys along. So basically with that sort of content moving forward, I want to show you guys as much as possible. When I'm planning a trip, I jump on YouTube because I want to see where people go, what they buy, little tips and tricks that you pick up. So I want to share with you guys enough so you can go, man, I'd love to do that trip one day. Or I remember Joey went there and bought that, or he asked about that license, etc. So the first video is going to be blog style. And after that, we're probably going to, just depends on our days, but we're probably going to break it into probably 3 or 4 different videos. There'll be a couple of just pure eye candy ones in there where there's not really technique, and there'll be a couple others where there's a bit of a blog style, but a lot of cool fishing stuff along the way. So really pumped about that one. As I said, it's definitely a bucket list trip for sure now. I've sort of planned it out with these blokes, and they've been before and done it. I've never done this in this place, so it's going to be pretty unreal. So yeah, stay posted for that, just because, yeah, we'll definitely tell you a bit more about that. And I basically just want to save it until I got all my gear here. I haven't sort of got all my gear ready yet. We can sit the gear up and do a bit of a, hey, this is what we're doing. So that's the first one. As I mentioned, yeah, the other ones are not until later in the year. Been to this place before and I've fished, but I just want to go back and target some different species. Like I said, it is a family holiday. But yeah, we're going to sneak out for probably 2 or 3 fishes. And probably a bit of a giveaway where it'll be, but we're definitely going to do some tackle shop videos. It's like the mecca for tackle shops in the world. So there's a few guys that I've become friends with that have some cool little stores over there. You might be sort of like a couple hours on a train, so we're going to definitely do some of that cool travel stuff, check out some cool timber baits. You know, we love timber lures, definitely going to check that out. So as far as fishing content, that's us for the year. July will come, we'll get straight into the Jew fishing stuff, trying to do a bit more daytime stuff, because I can film it for night time, but it's so boring. All you hear me is huffing and puffing and swinging the gaff around. So not really that exciting for you guys. So yeah, due in winter, and then obviously we're sort of going to be straight back into bass September. The cod's going to be back in there August before it closes. Probably July, August. We'll probably sneak another trip in around July. Maybe try for that big winter meatery. So yeah, that's basically the content for the year. As far as lures, as I mentioned, we've got stacks of orders to move us through for the rest of the year. Basically, Lure Expo hasn't been finalised yet, anything like that, but like normal, we're going to have hopefully some pretty cool stuff available with Expo still on then in around July when it normally is. I know Fitzy was just waiting to try and lock a few things in, so once that's all locked in, we can work out exactly what we're going to take. But let me tell you, I've already got a few ideas, and there's some pretty exciting stuff I've got planned. We won't be seeing squids again. I'm pretty sure we're sort of all squidded out. I really wanted to keep them to a limited run. Don't forget, I do have the squid collector sets. I'll drop up here the picture of those if you haven't seen them. They are a one-off. They were dated 2023. I finished them last year. There's only 20 of those sets available over. I think there's about 6 left. I'd love to see them go to some fantastic homes. So PM me for details on the price. We can work with you there. I really want to see them go to good homes and not just sit over here in my shed and collect dust. I personally think they were one of the most epic lures I've ever produced. They were practical if you didn't want to swim, not that they'll ever get swum. They look fantastic. The paint jobs were unreal. The boxes came up awesome. Everything about them, the engraved lids, I was absolutely stoked. And for really what they were valued at, it's not really a lot of money. So definitely, guys, contact me if you'd like to take home one of these squid sets that you've just checked out there. As far as lures on our website, one of the most asked questions I always gets, hey, you don't have stock on your website. And that is mainly because we are here to look after our tackle stores firstly. They're the ones that keep us going, so they're the ones that get looked after first. The only time that I'll have leftovers is I've got some over there on the bench where I run too many bodies, cut too many bodies for a certain order, and they'll just sit there. If I don't use them for someone else's order, I'll just paint them up and stick them on the store. But that is very rarely happening. Normally at Lure Expo, you'll see a stack of stuff will go up on there. But moving forward, we are going to try and have some different stuff up there. I've got some stuff over here in the other room in the background that I've been working on. Some cool top water baits, just some limited numbers, going to have like 20 or so of those and a couple of sizes. They're things that will go up through the year just to keep it ticking over, keep some stuff on the store. Our split ring pliers, guys, jump on our split ring pliers. They're always on the website. Got great stock of them now. Any of my stores, anyone out there wants to stock the split ring pliers as well as our lures, let me know. I've had some great feedback so far. We've sold a stack of them already, and they are really amazing split rings. Not only do they do really tiny stuff, I've just hooked up a heap of Barra stuff there today with bigger split rings. So really, really worth the money. Well, they're not even that expensive. 30 bucks for a really good set of stainless pliers. Quality control is pretty good on them. I go through them myself, but yeah, they've been pretty damn good. So I think maybe I had one that was a little bit funny on the tip, but I kept that for myself and I've been using it and there's not a problem with it. So really happy with those. As I mentioned, our hats, wherever they are, actually just noticed then, just on my phone, I've had an order come through as we're speaking on split ring pliers, guys. So they are going, don't miss out on those. Hats, always up on the website there, well, until they're gone. Got some cool colours left in those. And stubby coolers. Stubby coolers, got a heap of them. Jump on the stubby coolers. I think they're only like $7 or $8. I actually probably should have one now because it's damn hot out here. So there, that's a little bit about the website. I am working on a new website currently. We're sprucing up. We're changing, what would you say, service providers. I'm just trying to export everything over to the new one and keep everything on there up to date a little bit, freshen it up. Main reason for that is I want to integrate our shop into YouTube. So when you're watching a video and I'm smashing the whiting on that 110mm jerkbait, and if I've got some on there or whatever it might be, or I'm using my split ring pliers, I can just drop a link down below and it's as easy as while you're on the video, you click the link, go straight to our store and you can buy them. Can't currently do that with our provider, so I do want to just make that all tie in a little bit better. It makes it easier for you guys and helps me out a hell of a lot at the long run. Especially down the track, I do want to get a lot more into some cool apparel. I've got some really neat ideas with some apparel, some cool designs, and I want to stick all that stuff up there. So you're watching it and you can see the cool designs of the shirts and stuff flick under. It's nice and simple for you guys to buy them. All right, guys, well, that's probably really getting towards the end of this first one. It was more just a bit of an update and anything. As I said, we are going to eventually call this a bit of a podcast sort of style. I might even set up a little bit of a studio. You let me know what you want to see. Do you want to see a studio or do you just like seeing my messy bench behind there? So, let us know what you guys want to see. And yeah, drop your questions down below in those comment section. Any questions you've got. Bit of a heads up though, don't ask questions on brands and stuff. Now, that's not because I'm rude and I'm arrogant. I don't want to answer questions on what brand and stuff because it's such a big secret. It's pure and simply because answering that question has bit me in the backside before, and I'll explain that to you right now exactly how. For instance, what clear coat do you use is one of the most common questions I get asked. Now, the clear coat I use is compatible with all my processes, everything I use. So every process I use, my sealer, my primer, my paints, the way I clear, that is all compatible. So I know that's right. Now that's only from trial and error over the years. That's buying clear, it not working, throwing it in the bin, out of pocket, try new clear, sweet, it's all compatible, it all works. That's trial and error. Now, all my processes aren't going to be the exact processes that you use. So for instance, I use a water-based acrylic paint. You use car paint, this clear does not work on your car paint. If you use a certain different primer, like a grey primer, it will not work. It's not compatible. How do I know that? Because I've literally seen it myself. So if you ask a question like that, and I don't exactly just give you the brand and that, it's not because I don't want to. I'd love to tell you guys because it's not a big secret, this lure making thing. I love helping everyone out. It is literally, I don't want you to go, mate, this bloody paint run, which has happened before. I told someone and they weren't upset, but they were like, hey man, all the paint has literally just stripped off my lure. So that's the reason, guys. As I said, it's not because I don't want to tell you, but if you ask a specific brand and I don't answer it, that's why. But yeah, anything else I'm super happy to help you with, like paints. I love using my Auto Airs, my Cretex. Jump on Airbrush, Megastore, shout out to those guys. They're fantastic to deal with. But yeah, anything like that, like point in the right direction, what airbrushes, like what pressure PSI do you run in your compressor, like what bandsaw blades do you run, what sanders do you use, how do you sand your lures, like blah blah blah, anything like that, like anything at all, more than happy. What glue do you use? That's not a big secret. More than happy to help you. But it's just that main like sealer primer clear coat thing, I'm just a little bit reluctant because I know that it can backfire because it's definitely not going to be the system that you use. So yeah guys, went on bits of tangents there, but this is kind of what to expect here. I guess we're going to call this Talking with Jollip, give that a bit of a name, Talking with Jollip. We will get some guests on. I have put a little bit of thought into some guests. Obviously that'll be a bit of a pre-recorded thing. I'll talk and we can stick it up on the screen. But yeah, more than anything, this podcast style thing, little videos are going to be more aimed at lure making than anything. Definitely going to talk about fishing, but I really want to dive into the rabbit holes of like what makes a good topwater lure, what makes a good crankbait. If you fish, you would understand in the fishing industry there is, say, one or two standouts in each category. Now, I'm not just talking about timber lures, I'm talking everything, Japanese, plastic, everything made. So just a couple of examples. You think of a lipless crankbait. TN60 is, in my opinion, one of the pinnacles, always has been. It's been a cracking lure, it just catches fish at a good price point. So you think, why is that lure so good? There's reasons why, what makes that lure so good. You might look at, say, a jerkbait, for instance, for barrel. Definitely, our Twitch 80 is definitely up there. It's definitely proved itself. Jackal squirrel. Everyone knows a squirrel. That is a pinnacle in that category. A crankbaits, a chubby, or a hide up 150. There's certain lures in each category that you just, boom, you just know of. Blades, a ZX40, like, boom, you know that. When you think top water, you might think, for bass, you might think whopper plopper, pompadour, splash prawn, something like that. There's instantly a lure that just stands out there, and there's reasons that those lures do stand out there. They're just not stumbled across, oh man, this is a cool lure and it slays the fish. There's reasons behind it. Things like that we want to delve into. What makes a good jerkbait? What makes a good crankbait? What makes a good jew lure? Oh, why does your jew lure have to swim like this? Why does your jew lure blow out at high speeds? Things like that. There's reasons behind that. I've had that one before. I mean, I start cranking your jew lure flat out and it blows out. Well, we did that because, yet again, we're going off a tangent. But one of the things when you're fishing on the headland especially is it comes in, normally you'll wind really quick to try and get it in and flick it up the rocks. Now, if your lure holds dead straight at high speeds, what's inclined to happen is it'll just dig in and hook straight into the cungy. So if your lure holds dead straight, the quicker you wind it and just digs deeper, if you do that 4 or 5 real deep quick cranks, it's going to plow straight into the rocks. by not adding so much weight to our lures. I used to have a weight under the chin. We have got rid of that, and the main thing is if you give it a big pull or wind really fast, it'll just blow out, which is exactly what we want. Normally when it gets in close, I'll just give it a big rip like that and it'll flip to the surface and you can just pop it up the rocks. Little things like that, they're little reasons. Things normally happen for a reason. Fizzers, like my silly fizzers, they were a hugely successful fizzer bait. Oh, it twists and it pops and it does all this. Well, yeah, that a little bit of that may have been an accident we stumbled across, but holy hell, it just sends those bass crazy. But I refer back to bent minnow a lot. It's that erratic bent minnow action, the flick, 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 flick. It looks so injured, so natural in the water, something doing that. It's just not something tracking dead straight. So there's reasons that make lures so good. One of the topics we're going to delve into, and I can guarantee you that's not going to be in a 20-minute video. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. I've got lures to glue up. I've talked for way too long. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave those comments down below about those topics we talked about. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that like button. And I'd love you guys to share this video around. Let everyone know what we want to do. Let everyone know that, hey, if you want to talk about lure stuff, come and watch us every couple of weeks. So we're going to talk about lure stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I listen to a fair few podcasts, and there's not really a podcast in Australia that specifically just bangs about timber lures, other lures, just lures in general. I know there's podcasts about lures and stuff, but we want to delve into making lures. So in the future episodes, we may even do some stuff here while you're watching, sort of thing, gluing things up, explaining it all. So really hope you enjoy my ideas, guys, and we're going to catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.